All right, look at this side by side. There it is. There's a burger on the left. There's a burger on the right, okay? Do they look the same to you? What do you think? Well, a judge has some thoughts on this, which is why that judge is now green-lighting a lawsuit against Burger King, allowing it to move forward after 19 customers in more than a dozen states sued, basically arguing they were sold Whoppers in more ways than one. Duped, they argue, by ads that, according to the suit, make it look like the burgers are about 35% bigger, with more than double the actual meat than the real burger itself. Burger King denies all this. I want to bring in Sam Brock, who's joining us now. You know, the judge in this case says the alleged false advertising goes beyond exaggeration here, which is why the green light now is moving forward for this. What does that mean?
What it means, Hallie, is in the judge's own words, idealized imagery is something that is commonly used in the world of food advertising, which is to say that BK could reasonably argue consumers know better than this and wouldn't be fooled if there's a slight difference between what's in an ad and what they're actually purchasing. What the judge is saying in this case is it seems to be so egregious that they should be able to move forward. Now, here's the top line in all of this story. He's allowing the lawsuit to proceed. It doesn't mean that Burger King is guilty of any sort of misleading consumers or the public. It just means they're going to be taking next steps here, which involves things like discovery, potentially certifying a class action lawsuit. And many folks at home might be asking, what's the difference between this case and one that came up a couple of years ago against McDonald's and Wendy's, which was dismissed, where a similar argument was being staged. And the judge says twofold. One, the extent of the exaggeration, as you already mentioned, 35% is what the plaintiffs are asserting here in terms of the difference between the advertised burger and the real burger, but also that back in 2017, if you look at what Burger King's ads look like before that point in time and then after, it's again so exaggerated that the consumer could reasonably argue that Burger King over the course of the last several years just decided to make their hamburgers larger when in fact that may not be the reality. So we spoke with an attorney, by the way, who is representing the majority of those 19 people. And we asked him, what are you trying to achieve in all this? And he said, honestly, transparency in advertising. Take a listen to our conversation. What is the upshot of the lawsuit?
It's to get everybody their day in court, to get everybody the justice they deserve, whether it's $8 or $80 or $8 million. It's everybody should be treated fairly. No one should be taken advantage of, and companies should not be allowed to get away with doing things like this that are counter to what the public deserves and what the public asks for.
Hallie, Burger King had a very strongly worded response to this lawsuit. I want to get to that now. What they said is the plaintiff's claims here are false. The flame-grilled beef patties portrayed in our advertising are the same patties used in the millions of burgers that we serve to our guests across the United States. Going back to Russo now, he said that he rejects like 99% of the plaintiffs who come to him and want to bring some sort of action. He said in this case, however, it passes the eye test, and that's why he chose to proceed. Hallie.
But that's what's so interesting, because as we talk about any ads, Sam, right? Like, of course, it's an ad. The point is to make your stuff look good, whatever it is you're selling. Yeah. And this is all about the line between, let's say food styling, what is industry standard food styling, and what is sort of inappropriate, or as this judge is and these plaintiffs are saying, what is exaggerated, right?
I think that's exactly right. It's all about expectations. And the argument, again, from Burger King would be, look, as a consumer, you would just think that you're not expecting the exact replica of what's the best version that's portrayed out on the airwaves or, when you look at those little boards in the restaurant. However, the client in this case, or I should say the plaintiffs, are arguing that it was so badly misrepresented that it's unjust and Burger King needs to change its advertising.
Sam Brock on the burger beat for us tonight. Sam, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.